Hello, Mac here, and today I'm talking about the total number of sales and how much revenue that GTA 5 has made, as well as talking about what's going to be going on with GTA 5 after the release of Red Dead Redemption 2, and more in this video. So, a few days ago, Take-Two Interactive, which is the parent company of Rockstar Games, they had an investors meeting, and they were talking about finances as well as what they're going to be doing in the future with future releases. And this was both for Rockstar and 2K, which are the two companies that they own. And I'll have a link in the description to their conference call. The audio quality is not that great, to be quite honest, and it's about 40 minutes long. So I want to talk about the big points here, at least the points that pertain to Rockstar Games. And I want to talk about that in this video, but I will have a link in the description to the full investors meeting. But first off, let's talk about the sales of GTA 5 as well as Red Dead Redemption. So GTA 5, in 3 years of it being released, a little bit over 3 years actually, it has sold over 75 million copies, which is insane because a lot of games, a lot of AAA games, they are very lucky and they're considered a huge success even if they can only get over to 20 mil. Very few games get over like that 30 mil mark. So if you can get over like 20 million copies sold, that's great for a company, right? Like they want to see like 20 million is a big success. So GTA 5 has sold over 75 million copies, which is more than a lot of game franchises as a whole. And actually, in the past 12 months, GTA products have made over $650 million, which is also a huge amount. So that's essentially a lot of what the investors meeting was. And this is actually more copies sold in the past year, in 2016, than I think 2014 and 2015. So that's also something that's kind of strange. Rockstar has said in the past, in a Newswire post like a week ago, they said that they have gotten more people playing the game in December of 2016 than any months before. At least any months in 2016. So that is also something crazy to think about, is that they're actually improving in sales. Now, there may be a few reasons for this. One, I believe, would probably be because the game has been getting cheaper. I think you could probably pick up the game now for like $30, which for a 3-year-old game is still a little bit high, to be quite honest. As well as the game, I feel like it kind of has this snowball effect where, a friend that picks up the game will tell his friends to pick up the game. So then, the more people you have telling other people to pick up the game so that they can play together, then of course you're going to get more sales there. They also talked about how Red Dead Redemption, which came out back in 2010, sold 8.5 million copies in its first year, and in 15 million in total. So that's also pretty good. Not as good as GTA 5, but of course, Red Dead Redemption was in a newer franchise. It's, the second game in the franchise, and even then, Red Dead Revolver wasn't that big of a game. Sure, 15 million, copies in total pales in comparison to the 75 million that GTA 5 has sold, and also Red Dead Redemption has been out longer, but then again, GTA 5 has been on more platforms. Of course, Red Dead Redemption's not on the PS4, and it's not on the PC, so there's that as well. So enough about the sales numbers on Rockstar Games. Next up, let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, there wasn't much information in here about Red Dead Redemption 2, which kind of sucks because we haven't heard much information about the game really at all ever since the reveal back in October. However, he did say a little bit whenever he was asked some questions about Red Dead Redemption 2. So, Strauss Zelnick, who is the Take-Two CEO, he said, when asked about Red Dead Redemption 2, he said, "Obviously, we're incredibly excited about the title. Not just Red Dead Redemption, but also the online offering to come. So Rockstar will talk more about the title, but obviously, there is great ambition both on the part of ourselves and consumers." However, one thing I did notice in here was that he says the online offering to come. So will this be similar to GTA 5, where the online comes out a few weeks later than the actual single player? Who knows, maybe this is just, bad wording on his part, maybe I'm reading too much into it. However, I wouldn't be too surprised if that's the case. I just hope that whenever Red Dead Redemption 2 Online comes out, that it's not a buggy mess like GTA Online was whenever it first came out. So yeah, I'm excited for this. So also another thing that was talked about with Red Dead Redemption 2 was the fact that GTA Online and Red Dead Redemption 2 will coexist together. And what I mean by that is he was asked about all the sort of leaks and, all the people that are saying that, after Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, that GTA 9 will essentially be done. Or at least, they may still have the servers up, but they're not going to, add more content to the game. And I was kind of under that impression as well, but Strauss Zelnick kind of thinks differently. And he says, I'm fond of saying entertainment is an unusual animal, and that entertainment properties don't really compete with other entertainment properties, and that you never need entertainment. Entertainment is something that you want to have, but it's not a need to have. If nothing in the market appeals to you at some time, there's no reason to go out and get it. And if multiple things appeal to you, avid consumers will consume all of those things. So I don't think there's any competitive dynamic with any of our upcoming releases, apart from the fact that our success is driven by quality. So I think the success of Red Dead, which is highly anticipated, will be driven by its quality, and I think the ongoing success of Grand Theft Auto Online is driven by its extraordinary quality. So I kind of agree with that, and he's kind of saying with this that if people want to play both Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA Online, that they're going to do it. But also I think he's a little bit too confident in that, because, just a few months ago we saw EA release Battlefield 1, and then Titanfall 2 got released like a week later. And, Titanfall 2's sales are way down, and it's not because the game is necessarily a bad game, it's just because people that, want a first-person shooter, they just bought Battlefield 1 instead because it had a much bigger franchise behind it, much bigger marketing, and it came out earlier. I could see, consumers going like, well, why do I need to pick up Red Dead Redemption 2 if GTA Online is still being supported? I already have Grand Theft Auto 5 and GTA Online, and I already have, all my progress and all that. So what's the point of getting Red Dead Redemption 2? There's also the other people that aren't interested in Red Dead Redemption 2 because, well, essentially, they're just not interested in that franchise. So I kind of see where he's coming from, where people, myself included, I'll probably alternate between the two, especially if GTA Online still gets DLCs after. We don't know about that just yet, necessarily. But if it's still getting updates, and, same with Red Dead Redemption 2, I'll probably alternate between the two. But there are a few problems with that. One in particular is, what if Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out and it has like this groundbreaking feature, or the online has these cool new additions and stuff that people want to see in GTA Online? Well, will people go back to play GTA Online because of those new additions, or will people request those features to be added to GTA Online, where whenever they do add them, then nobody's playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Once Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, what are they going to do with GTA Online? I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with that. There were a few other things. One thing that Strauss Zelnick also talked about was the Nintendo Switch. So if you don't know, Nintendo's coming out with their new console, I think in March. They don't have any, exclusive plans for the Nintendo Switch just yet. I think they're going to be releasing either NBA 2K17 or maybe it's the NBA 2K18. I'm not sure, when that's going to be coming out, but I think they're going to be, releasing some NBA game onto the Nintendo Switch. And maybe if that does well, they said that they may look more into it and, maybe make more games for it. So maybe Red Dead Redemption 2 will come out for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know, that's not confirmed, but hey, it's a possibility. They are looking into it. But anyways, some of your thoughts on this in the comments. What are your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2? Do you think that it'll take away from people that are playing GTA Online, or do you think that they can coexist together? And what are your thoughts on the huge numbers of sales and revenue that GTA 5 and GTA Online have been making over the past couple years? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Hope you enjoy. Feedback, so I'll see you guys in the next video.